Hello, I'm Kevin Ye, VP of Sales with Ignite Consulting Group, developers of the Hot Sauce countertop selling software.
And I'm Mackenzie. I'm marketing coordinator for Ignite.
Today we have Steve Moran joining us. Steve, say hello and introduce yourself.
How you doing? I'm Steve Moran. I'm with FlexiJet North America, here to talk a little bit about digital templating.
Awesome. So Steve, before we get into the FlexiJet system, which you actually just gave us a demo on, you've traveled the country recently. What are you seeing within the stone industry?
I definitely think the stone industry is a different type of animal, and I'm noticing a huge difference when it comes to training and support offered in the market. And I think it comes from a sales standpoint as well. So something that we want to do different with FlexiJet is always make sure that there is that strong training and support when it comes to our customers. And I have to call out, I love companies like the Natural Stone Institute that are doing these guidelines. At least they can't make it a training program, but it's at least guidelines when it comes to the safety and the controls of what to do in the stone industry. So definitely something that I like to focus on, especially since I'm from a training background.
Yeah, that's a great piece of insight. It's not only what you sell, but the service you provide before, during, and after.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So Steve, I've got a few years in the templating industry, familiar with most of the systems, but today was the first time I saw the FlexiJet demonstrated face-to-face.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very impressive system. The two things that really stood out to me was one, it can be as simple or as sophisticated as you want the system to be, which I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing that stood out to me was the level of automation that the FlexiJet is capable of.
Yeah.
Can you talk about those two things and any other things in your mind that really make FlexiJet different from other templating systems in the marketplace?
For sure. We wanted a system that I wouldn't say it was built for countertops or built for glass. It's built for the person who's going to be behind it and doing the measuring. So when it comes to being as simple for somebody who's maybe just doing countertops in apartment buildings, or as advanced as somebody who's doing full shower cladding and vertical surfaces, we want to be able to hit them all. And so I always recommend doing an online demo because we will cater that demo to the needs. But you have a product that will grow with you throughout the years. You're not going to have to buy something else in 3 years. We will continue that training and that relationship. I always tell people it's like a marriage when you're buying it, that we grow with you and we make sure that you're on it. When it comes to some of the differences, the accuracy is going to be a lot better than what you've heard of from lasers because we're measuring more times. We're measuring 500 times each time you request a measurement. We're a lot better on dark surfaces because of this. We're designed to be more accurate at an angle than we are at a straight 90. That way you can get this actually because we notice that you're never really measuring at a 90-degree angle for all of your measurements. You maybe get one or two. So this is why we put a lot of thought into the design of the FlexiJet to make sure that it can work in any and every scenario, countertops to high-end reception desks.
I'll throw in there, Steve, that something you showed off was you could walk up to the dot and use either a remote control or your phone. So if you really need to hit a specific cross point or a bullseye target, you can actually travel with the dot, get right up to it, and control the FlexiJet system remotely, which I thought was really, really fun, neat, brilliant.
Yeah, and now we're using the technology just from our smartphone with our new smartphone app that we can, as part of the training, get that trainee closer to what they're measuring instead of hiding behind the laser. And this gets them to visually see what they're measuring and how they're going to account for it. So it's definitely a plus on that side.
I won't let it stop there because the more we talk about it, the more things come to mind. But two other things, right, what I love about FlexiJet was it takes a picture with each and every measurement. So you can go back and check that your templators were measuring the right points and the right frames. And the other thing I saw FlexiJet do was auto scribe. Right, so you can step away, you can talk to the customer, you can scribe the back wall automatically. So I thought those are two additional functions that were really impressive with FlexiJet.
Yeah, and my background, my first job that I screwed up when I was templating as a young kid was a tub deck. So knowing that I can just put the FlexiJet in the bathtub and I can have a cup of coffee while it measures the whole thing for me is just a nice thing for me, and it helps me connect with the other templators that might have been through the same situation.
And Steve, Kevin mentioned to me that you guys are newly branded in the US and you've had a lot of success in Europe for quite some time. So I think we're curious to know from a marketing standpoint, how are you building your brand here in the United States?
Yeah, so we are newer into the US, especially as FlexiJet North America. I would say that we've been trying to sell in North America for about 5 years through distributors and dealers, and it hasn't worked out too well. because their focus was more on the sale versus the continuation of that customer. Whereas now, as the manufacturer and being able to be in charge of it, I can make sure that that vision is on the training and the support as well. So we want to make sure that it's offered there. And really the only marketing plan we had to make this quick switch was hire the right people. We already have the right product, and now make sure that the right information is given out for it. So since that, we've already had, over the last 6 months since we officially launched FlexiJet North America, we're up 300% in sales month over month compared to what we were doing the previous year.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I mean, I thought COVID would slow us down a little bit, but I do notice that a lot of the shops in the industry are actually growing. There was a little bit of a dip, and then now we've just been surpassing everything that anybody has been doing. So
Wow.
it's good to see. It's a little bit difficult to come out and travel to, which I enjoy that we can remotely log into the laser and do online training sessions before we actually schedule the on-site visit.
Great.
So that you can be up and running even before we need you to.
Right. So Steve, people who are interested in learning more about the FlexiJet, they're always going to sooner or later come to the question of how much does a system like this cost?
Mm-hmm. So we're $19,950, so it's about $20,000 US, which through our finance partners we're able to do for just under $400 a month.
Great. So at under $20,000, selling just one hot sauce item per day generates over $60,000 in sales for a fabricator. Steve, I think that's enough to buy 3 FlexiJet systems.
Yeah, and I would love it.
Now, Steve, if they want to see this in person or get an online demo, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
I would definitely suggest go to myflexijet.com. We'll have all the resources that you might need there, schedule an online demo with us, ask all the questions that you want. We can even have the customers log in and move the laser and measure with the laser from the safety of their home. If you do prefer an on-site demo, you can get in contact with us as well at our email, sales@flexijet.info.
Great. And again, that website was myflexijet.com. So Steve, thanks for visiting us. Thanks for spending the time with our templating team here. Steve was here about 2 hours, answered all of our templaters' questions, and great to see you. And again, very, very impressive system. So thank you for your time and your visit.
Thanks for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.